to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. Suds. It's time for more Suds.
I think it's time for Suds, although I sound like death warmed over today. Welcome to the Suds episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. This is good old boy Mike. I know I don't sound like myself today, but this is definitely me. You think I sound like death warmed over, guys?
Yeah.
I think I need more beer. That's definitely what I need more than anything else.
Yeah, you need to blow your nose.
I'm sorry, you told me to blow something. Is that what you said, Mott?
Maybe.
Yeah, weren't we talking about blow earlier?
Yeah, all right. Well, joining me here at the table is good old boy Andzrej.
Hi.
That's it. Hi.
Hey.
There's no Polish word for hi?
It's confusing.
It's confusing.
It sounds weird. Cześć.
There you go. See, that was easy. Good old boy Matt.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I wish I was feeling better today, but I am well. I'll be better with more beer as we go through today. And good old boy Chuck.
Hello.
Well, today is a Sud segment. Our Sud segments are all about beer, and more beer. Wow, please hand me some more cold medicine so I can read this just a little bit better. Today's show is actually a show and tell episode. Now, this is actually a regular tasting group that has more doctoral candidate degrees, or I should say doctoral candidates, than any other lots of homebrewers combined.
No degrees yet.
I have a degree.
Yes.
Yeah, I have two, actually.
I have a lot of useless pieces of paper on my walls as well.
Oh, no. This is what my employment is based on.
Oh, yes.
Why are you making fun of me?
That's good.
Lots of homebrewers combined with the Doctor of Funk, good old boy Andzrej here, has yielded an ever-growing conversation on beer, hence the name of our tasting group is Beer Talks. So each host has brought a beer to talk about today. The rest of the group has had a chance to try each beer, and each co-host is going to introduce the beer, discuss their tasting notes, and the rest of us will also taste and rate the beer as well. So we have a great lineup for you today, and a very diverse set of beers to go through. Omnipollo, Abrahadabra is one of the beers we'll go through. Mixx Pale Ale from MIA Beer Company. Altbairisch from Ayinger.
Yeah.
Wow, man, I'm telling you. How about that? Just a simple yes, you did not flip that up, Mike. And Barry the Hatchett from Sycamore Brewing. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Thanks, Chuck. I knew that if I was going to screw anything up, I'd probably mispronounce Sycamore correctly.
Mispronounce it correctly?
Yeah. I said there was a lot of cold medicine involved, so. Pizza.
There we go.
Well, Chuck gets the honors of going over our Suds ratings for today. So,
that's one.
Yep, that's definitely one lung I've coughed up for today. Chuck gets the honors of going over our Suds rating for today. So in our proud tradition of letting the newbie host sound ridiculous, Chuck has what I call Southern swagger. And I'm going to ask him to use his best Southern swagger as he reads the Suds ratings for today. Go for it, good old boy Chuck.
Well, as a Southerner, I must say it's a little hard to throw it on. But anyways, number one.
Do you need a gun in your hand so that you can really get into character? Is that it?
Maybe we should have brought you some Coors Light.
Yeah, where's your gun?
A few other things that come to mind, but probably not appropriate. Let's see. So, start now.
Well,
all right.
We'll be tasting and discussing, yeah.
All right. That sucks. This is number one. That sucks. Give me anything but a bud.
Mm-hmm.
2, was that a belch?
I say that every time about Mott.
3, what a relief. Which I'm pretty sure no true Southern would actually say. What a relief. 4, a body should really not make that sound.
That's definitely Mott.
And 5, listen to that hang time. Give me another.
Thank you, Chuck. That was incredibly lame. We'll try to let you work your way up to your Southern swagger as the day goes by here.
Give us some more beer.
Yeah, it takes alcohol, brings it out.
Yeah, I know. And guns.
I'm glad I didn't eat anything today.
Well, let's get to some beer for today, other than that cough. So, we have some great beer to go over. We're going to start off with what good old boy Andzrej brought for us today. What'd you bring for the group to share?
I brought a Mega Mixx from MIA.
How come I have like a hip hop song, always playing in my head every time they say the name of this?
I don't know, for some reason.
It's the cold medicine kicking in. That's probably it.
No. I was thinking about Technotronic, actually. Or Snap. Do you guys remember Snap?
I think so. Yeah, like the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, like BAM.
That's what that can is all about, I think. Where is that can?
Yeah.
Well, I think the can motif is definitely decked out in what was the name of the
80s neon?
what was the show in Miami?
Miami Vice.
Miami Vice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe less mustaches and mullets.
Yes, I can hear Don Johnson as we're sipping this.
This is challenging, actually. Now I'll try to describe that beer to the best of my ability, which is terrific ability. By the way, everyone agrees I have fantastic ability, so there is no problem with my ability. Believe me.
Good job.
Oh, come on, Mike.
I'm getting there.
You knew what you were asking for.
I did. We'll start off with this style of beer. How's that?
It's a pale ale, and I think this is the best pale ale I had in 2016. I really think this beer is amazing. And I started with the other beer, unfortunately. Where are my notes? It pours very nice. Can I... thank you.
It's out.
Oh, that won't help. But it pours very nice, hazy orange yellow.
It's
alive with very, very much carbonation, very live streams of carbonation going upwards. Have you ever seen carbonation going downwards?
Yes, I definitely have. No, not in the glass, no. But I have seen, definitely carbonation leave a beer rather,
Can you guys hear it? Oh, not this one. Pizza.
Wasn't that from like that movie, The BFG? Did you guys see that? The cartoon? They have like the stuff, the bubbles floating down that made people fart in the movie. Anyways.
No, I think that was just you.
yeah.
That's a very interesting digression here.
Well, so you had...
It smells amazing.
Yeah, we established it's a pale ale. It smells amazing.
Yes. Very, very... Smells like juicy juice to me.
It says it's 6% alcohol and only 50 IBUs.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Well, I think
I didn't get much bitterness. I think 50 is a.
I think they did a lot of late additions. That's all the hop went late, and a lot of dry hopping. That's my take on that beer.
So I know you mentioned you wanted to talk a little bit about the brewery itself, MIA Brewing Company.
Yes. They from Doral, Florida. I've never been over there. Doral.
Yes.
But I hear this is the third quickest growing city in the United States.
Darrell is the third. That's good. I thought. Okay. I thought Nashville and Charlotte. I guess they're behind Nashville
Austin,
and Charlotte. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. But I think they started in early 2014. And it's interesting, actually, because initially they were only brewing for exclusive list of customers, so they weren't really on the market in terms of regular sales.
Like contract brewing?
No. They had their own
like a beer club
distribution company. No. They created their own distribution company, and they have an exclusive list of their customers that they'll deliver to.
Huh? That's an interesting model.
Yeah, so like almost like a boutique brewery. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
Huh. So they were a distributor that decided to make beer. Is that what you said?
Well, don't know exactly the culprit, but they were distributing their own beer initially. So I'm not sure about that.
Do you know anything else in their product mix? Is this the only beer they have? Or
No. They have a bunch of other beers, actually. This is the one. So I've been to Destin fall break. Took my kids for fall break to Destin, and someone in a local beer store introduced me to this beer, and I was mesmerized to begin with. I'm really in love with this beer. Again, the juicy juice. That's my theme when I think about Mega Mixx, and the hops that are in it. It's we're talking about Mosaic, Galaxy, and Citra. So it's a perfect blend. And initially, I thought perhaps this is an IPA, but then there's not much really bittering in it. And
well, we'll be right back after this break, and we'll talk a little bit more about Mega Mixx.
Rolling clouds and crashing surf, iridescent dunes reflecting by the light of a rising, glowing moon. Seashore mesmerizing, night breeze hypnotizing. We've come across these back roads none too soon. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love.
Hey, welcome back to Sips, Suds, and Smokes. On today's Suds segment, we're all talking about show and tell beers that we've brought. Andzrej was going through a beer that he brought from MIA Beer Company called Mega Mixx. So we're going to go around and taste and rate this beer. Up first is Good Old Boy Mott.
All right. So I thought this beer was also very good, but as Andzrej was saying, I think the Galaxy and the Mosaic really come through in the nose, and I get a lot of like those kind of summery stone fruits and star fruit, as well as a hint of pine, I think. Moving on to the taste, I get a lot of kind of this sweet resinous type hoppiness that I get that's kind of apparently sweet but kind of oily. It's very good. The beer is actually very, very carbonated, almost to like a champagne effervescence. That's very good. And like we said before, I didn't really realize it was a pale ale, but it's definitely has a very smooth bitterness that doesn't come through. Maybe more closer to a centennial bitterness or like a
that low IBU is definitely very apparent. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty malty though, so maybe that's just kind of.
What's your Suds rating?
I give it a 4.
Wow, how about that?
Maybe like a 4.5.
Negative. We have a long list of other shows. You are welcome to join, Matt, if you would like to go to non-integer rating.
No, but overall I thought it was very good. It was very good. And this is multiple times I've had this beer with Andzrej because he seems to love it so much. So I would definitely.
So he didn't actually talk
Thank you. That's so sweet of you.
He said this was his top pick for 2016, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think he might have bought in 2 cases of it or something. He has a bunch of it.
Oh, no, there's much more than that. It keeps coming, actually. My birthday is coming. I've seen my wife was hiding some in a closet. I didn't tell her, but I've seen her. And I was very happy.
Is this your coming out of the closet beer? Is that how that works?
Oh, let's not get into that now.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Does it have anything to do with like the neon colors? Like I instantly think of like European, like just
Sweatsuits.
yeah, just it's got the whole palette of sweatsuits from.
You want me to take my pants down right now? Is that what you
I have
want?
some music.
I have some colors.
I mean, we got some good polka music. So, please.
This can might need like a gold
close
chain
on
around
there.
it or something.
Yeah, it was a joke.
I know.
Pizza.
Chuck, what do you think about the Mega Mixx from MIA Beer Company?
I think I pretty much agree with what's been said already. The Mosaic definitely comes out almost to the point of overpowering, in my opinion. I think it's maybe we'll call some kind of sensitive to the Mosaic a little bit. I brewed like 2 beers as soon as Mosaic came out and was easy to get, and I think I just burnt myself out on it. But as far as the beer itself, it smells great. It tastes good, but I think kind of the resiny sweetness to it could be overwhelming. It if you had like 4 or 5 of these, you might get a little resiny stomach ache if that's makes sense at all.
Sticks to your ribs a little bit.
Yeah.
Problems with pooping, you mean?
Toilet humor.
Yes.
It's important.
I actually think it's a really good beer, and I will give it a 4 as well. But I would do that 1 beer and hit it and quit it, and then go on.
Interesting. So, not the whole 6-pack. Yeah.
Right.
So, maybe like 2 and done.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe like a bomber.
So my own tasting notes around the Mega Mixx from MIA Beer Company. I thought it had good malt backbone. It was interesting. We were talking a little bit as we were tasting, and Matt was saying he didn't really get a lot of malt coming off this, and I really thought it had a good striking malt backbone. And part of that might have been I tasted it fresh out of the can, and even when I've gone back to it here, it doesn't have that same presentation as it's been sitting in the glass for maybe 10 minutes.
Could be something to do with the carbonation too. It's
Maybe,
so highly
yeah.
carved.
I thought the hops were kind of bright. I wrote down Mosaic. I thought was the predominant hop that I was tasting through here. You guys are kind of nodding your head. Kind of an earthy bitterness to it. I did think it was balanced overall. I'm going to give it a solid Suds of 4 as well.
So it was all in agreement, all 4?
Yeah. So I remember the first time we had this, in the tasting group was, we had a lot of hoppy beers. In fact, I remember we had a lot of the Northeast, style beers, at that particular tasting session. And it was interesting, tasting that alongside a lot of other very hoppy IPAs, both doubles, as well as others, just single IPAs that were at the table. And I thought it was interesting how this kind of hung in the mix. It was really the quality of the beer making, I thought, was what really kind of struck me as, that worked really well.
And it's very clean for me.
It is a very clean finish off this as well. So I really applaud them on the choice of ingredients and the measure of balance around that. So, I think if you haven't come back around and revisited a good pale ale, you should put this on your short list for sure. Well, up next is good old boy Mott to talk about his Ayinger. I almost got it. Not really, but anyway. Tell us what you brought today.
Sure. So I brought a Ayinger Altbairisch Dunkel. Ayinger is a brewery in Bavaria. It's a small town called Ayinger, hence Ayinger, right outside of Munich. And this is kind of a traditional Dunkel. Altbairisch having a direct translation to Bavarian. So it's essentially a traditional Bavarian Dunkel that's very clean, very approachable, very easy to drink. It's about 5% ABV. I think I paid like $3.50 for it at the store, and I think you can get it pretty much anywhere. It's just one of my beers I keep going back to because I almost feel like it's liquid comfort food. It's just so malty and heavy and warming. I just feel like it's good to drink on a cold day.
I thought it was a little bit oxidized, actually.
Yeah, maybe a little oxidation. it is coming from Germany. That makes sense. But also, I think you made me lose my train of thought.
Pizza.
Yeah, you need to train for that. That's worse is coming towards you soon.
That's fine. But yeah, I think the way that these traditional dunkels are brewed are with a traditional decoction mash method, where you boil the grains during the mash to kind of help release the sugars, and also caramelize the sugars and caramelize the malt, and you kind of get this really deep, rich melanoidin type flavor. And I feel like this beer is very reminiscent of that flavor, and it's very hard to copy this, I think.
Melanoidin. That's remind me never to play Scrabble.
Oh, it's like that's one of the words that he goes to all the time.
Yeah, either that or
is that
oxidized,
one of his top 5 useless words?
Top 5 melanoidin. Yeah, Grignard reaction. Sure. But yeah, I would say that this beer is very nice. It's kind of, if you've had the Celebrator Doppelbock from Ayinger, it's kind of a Celebrator light as well. And so kind of what I get on this is, on the nose, I get a plum caramel toffee type flavor with maybe a little bit of this malt chocolatiness that I also get in the taste, with a light mouthfeel that's kind of slick and elegant. It's kind of light and easy to drink. And yeah, I guess it's a very good example of a dunkel. And in my experience brewing, this is an extremely very hard beer to replicate.
Easy to find. What's their distribution like?
It's very easy to find. I think they go all 50 states.
Yeah.
I think they distribute all over Europe and all over the U.S. for sure.
Well, swinging it around to good old boy Chuck, what do you think about the Ayinger, the alt beer?
It's basically
not an alt beer, a dunkel.
Oh, it's a dunkel. Oh, okay.
Yeah, an alt beer is from Dusseldorf.
Add that to the list.
Yeah.
I won't comment on that.
Remind me not to sit down and discuss BJCP guidelines with Matt. Let me write that down.
So I'll obviously not be quite as articulate about that. I'll just say that it pretty much tastes like if sweet tea was a beer. It's exactly what I think it would taste like.
That's interesting.
I like it. I like the maltness of it. I mean, it is what you think it would be. It's just a big malt bomb, and it's well done. There's definitely no off flavors on it. It's 5% alcohol, so you could drink a few of these and be okay with it. Yeah.
What's your Suds rating going to be?
I think I'm going to go with a 3.
A 3 on this. Interesting. So my own tasting notes on the Dunkel from Ayinger. See, I wrote
not from Dieseldorf.
Alt.
Maybe it's an alt Dunkel.
Yeah.
Well,
say the name again.
Altbairisch Dunkel. So I could see how you'd see alt beer from Altbairisch, but Altbairisch means
is the name of the beer. It's a Dunkel, though. No, I get that.
Yes.
I loved your description. In fact, it was so close to some of the things I wrote down. You said plum, and I wrote down stone fruit. And I thought that the presentation was kind of a sweet caramel. It's not overdone. And we were actually talking in the middle of our tasting, and we both agreed that this most likely is the same malt bill as the Celebrator, which is a really great Bock beer. I mean, I can't say enough about... If you ever have to taste beer and you're trying to compare it against a reference Bock, you need to drag that out and go, this is how every Bock beer you should taste at least as good, if not better. So, really great balance off this. I've never had this before, and I thought it was a great rendition. We have another really great Dunkel that, circulates locally, and I really think this is a great representation of a lot of the ingredients that are native, to this brewer as well. I really just love the simplicity of this. This is one of those beers that you can screw up incredibly easy. You can scorch the malt, and it gives off, roasty presentation, or those
smoky malt.
Yeah, those cooked sugars, really quick. And I would say the vast majority of Dunkels that I have, you move down that path of having a lot of, kind of burnt sugars, to it, and it doesn't really kind of come through. So,
do they handle their own malt? Do you know that?
I don't know where they get their malt from. I'm sure, I'm sure the malt bill for this Dunkel is probably 80-75% Munich that they decoct. So I'm sure it's
probably pretty simplistic. I'd imagine there's not.
Yeah, it's just a low kiln.
Well, my Suds rating for say the name of the beer?
Altbairisch.
Yes. It's going to be a 4. I am going to get to the point that I can say that, but probably after Andzrej finishes his tasting notes.
Well, I don't really have much on that beer. It's let me look at my notes again.
Pizza. It sucks.
I think that sucks. I think it sucks.
Oh yeah, pizza was spot on.
Oh, okay.
Nothing really remarkable in that beer. Drinkable, definitely, very drinkable.
You don't like the malts? You're not a malt fan?
Yeah, very bready. I got some. I thought it was dried plum, maybe on a finish.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yep.
Or some kind of dried fruit,
like a little tartness.
Yeah. Semi-dry finish. Yeah, well, definitely drinkable. Something that, if I was outside of during the not very warm day, yeah, I'll drink on it. Yeah, I'll drink on it. With you, Matt, I'll drink on it all day.
Okay, great.
What's your Suds rating going to be?
I'm going to give it 3.
A 3 it is. Wow. So, really solid beer all the way around there, Matt. I really appreciate you bringing that. And I don't think I've had, a lot of beers, from them outside of a Celebrator. And I think it's because I've gone back to that, so many times.
Well, yeah, it's the classic. I think the Celebrator is probably the best Doppelbock in the world, arguably.
Yeah, I agree.
I would also recommend checking out their Urweiss, which is their Dunkel Weiss. It's very good.
Urweiss.
All
right, well, I'll have to put that on our radar for sure. You know what? This show definitely needs something. It really needs something right now.
I gotta have more cowbell, baby.
Classic.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
How old is that now?
This is so you, Mike.
We have the lamest cowbell ever.
That was pretty lame.
Yeah, it's like the Windows tone, like you click the wrong screen.
Yeah. There's something so wrong about a lot of that. Well, up next is good old boy Chuck with the beer that he brought from Sycamore called Bury the Hatchet.
Yeah, so like you said, I brought Bury the Hatchet from Sycamore Brewing, which is out of Charlotte, North Carolina. You pretty much get everything you need to know out of it in the name, which is a wild raspberry stout. Kind of a sucker for the sour stouts. They're kind of hard to do, but when you find a good one, they're hard to beat. As far as this one, the nose is pretty much all raspberry. The taste is what you'd expect. It's tart from the raspberries. You kind of get some of the malt profile with it. It's slightly astringent, which you kind of expect with a wild fermentation. You're kind of going to draw out some of the astringency from the darker malts. Visually, it's a stout, so it's going to be dark. But I really like it. I think it's probably not a perfect sour stout, but it's there. It's close for me.
I don't know a whole lot about this, brewer itself. Maybe where is Sycamore and? Yeah,
so like I said, it's out of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a really small. They do nothing but small batches. It's very popular, and from what I understand, they're expanding fast. I've actually never been to the brewery. My brother lives there. I'm actually from that area, and he sent it up. He actually sent a 25-gallon cooler full of beer. FedExed to me, and this was one of the gems in it. I don't know a whole lot. I know it's crowded, so it's called Club Sycamore, from what I understand, because everyone goes there, so it's kind of a party place. So a lot of the beer drinkers either go early and get out of there before 8 or 9 o'clock.
So this is one of the new breweries that is not part of the Asheville, beer scene, I take it.
No, yeah, this is in the Charlotte area, which Charlotte has a really thriving scene going on right now. They have a lot of breweries that are popping up, a lot of breweries who are doing really good stuff. I mean, you can tell that the quality is getting really high. I mean, there's... Let's see. I can't even remember. The list changed so much. I couldn't even rattle off all that. You used to be able to rattle off how many breweries were in Charlotte. Now it was like Old Mecklenburg, Noda, and a few others. And now I think there's 15 or 20 in the area.
Well, let me cover some of my own tasting notes for Bury the Hatchet from Sycamore Brewing. It tastes like a box of chocolates.
there is some chocolate in there. I did forget to mention.
So the first thing I wrote down is fruited stout. So, I wrote down this is definitely like a boxed chocolate, a drugstore, boxed chocolate. It just has that same, taste profile to it. A slightly sweet finish. I think probably the thing that
it is 7.2. So
wow, that's interesting. I would have never guessed it would have been that high. Well, probably that much sugar.
Too, actually,
yeah. I'm not surprised that the yeast worked, that hard on it, with that much sugar. I just thought the fruit buried the stout. So I
buried the hatchet.
There's not a pun sound you have.
No, I don't. But I could add one, here rather quickly. So before we go out to break, my Suds rating for this is going to be a 2. So
what did you say?
A 2. Yeah.
Pizza.
We'll be right back in just a moment and talk more about this.
But baby, the whole elation we're riding down this lover's avenue. As slow as a willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind wind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right, keep your eyes on the road, my darling, wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows, my hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
Welcome back to Sips, Suds, and Smokes. On today's Suds episode, we're doing show and tell, and definitely we had some lively discussion through the break there about exactly what is this beer. So it might have been, a bit mislabeled. So I think calling it a brown beer with raspberry would have been a little better choice. So
a brown stout?
No. Go to the corner. No beer for you. It's just. Well, first off, I'm not a raspberry fan, so that's some of that's playing into my taste profile itself.
And there was something added that wasn't part of the German purity law, like chocolate.
No
Reinheitsgebot.
Yeah. I just when you get something that has a roasted malt in it and has fruit in it, and you just can't taste the roasted malt, and it just absolutely got buried by the fruit. I think that's really what
they added way too much.
I disagree. I actually did taste the malt in it.
All right. Well, far away there, Andzrej. What are the rest of your tasting notes?
One thing that
in this microphone thingy here.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. no, just I can't. It's so bright, on my notes that I have to move my.
The basement is bright.
Yeah,
it's a bright basement.
Are we in a basement?
Yeah,
no.
we're in a basement.
Okay. Yeah, it poured very nice, black with very nice brown head. I definitely agree with the box of raspberry chocolates, and I actually really did appreciate that. If I didn't if you didn't mention the wild fermentation over there, I would attribute those notes to actually raspberries.
Yeah, I agree with that,
and I really like that. I did notice whiskey / bourbon notes. So barrel. Yeah, I think
was barrel aged.
Yeah, you sick, man. You know this whole. I mean, like
I'm not that sick. Trust me, I didn't taste any barrel off that.
Okay. Yeah, I really, I completely disagree with you. I think it was a great beer, and cool. Perhaps we could argue on the style here, but I'm giving it 4.
Wow! All right, cool. This isn't agree with Mike. This is Andzrej having his own opinion.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk about it later. Good point, Mike.
All right. Well, I did like this beer. I thought, as well, on the nose, I just get chocolate-covered cherries, just like a box of chocolates, like you were saying. But I also get some hints of tobacco that may be a little more reminiscent of that.
I forgot to mention that, too. I agree, yeah.
Do you think that comes from just, like, the wild fermentation on some dark malts like that?
It could be from the wild ferment. It could also be from the oak barrels. Because it looks like from the process label, they said that they did oak aging, and then they dumped in a bunch of raspberries. So whatever sugar from the raspberries plus whatever yeast was on the raspberries is going to eat that up, right? So,
or the farmer that grew the raspberries used a lot of nicotine for anti-pesticide. That's
North Carolina. So
yeah, it could have been right next to a tobacco field.
Yeah, they're good folks over there in North Carolina. I hear.
Good old boys.
Yeah. All
right. So, also on the taste, I just get a lot of sour tartness with a light mouthfeel. Not really that big on the body at all for a stout. I feel like it's just really light and kind of thin.
Wild fermentation again.
Yeah, just everything got metabolized out of that, and I
mean, it's an odd beer style to begin with, so it kind of.
It is. I think it works. I just think that maybe they started with a really crappy beer and decided to add like 2,000 pounds of raspberries to be like, hey, it's better now.
I mean, it would be able.
I like Matt's theory. That's exactly what I think.
Good old boy Mike loves you now.
Yes, I like how this is going.
Just cover up those flavors.
What were we aiming for? Well, it was a stout. It's not a stout anymore. We have 200 pounds of leftover raspberries. We're going to add raspberry puree, and to make this more interesting, we're going to drop it into a barrel. That's how I think this went down.
So. Yeah. Well,
I think it would be. I think it would be interesting.
It sounds awfully familiar, actually.
to have the stout without the wild fermentation, with just the raspberries, and see how tart that comes out. You definitely get more body out of it. You may have a more balanced beer at that time.
Oh, definitely. I think. But yeah, I give it a 3, so I'm right in between you guys.
Wow.
So is that a 3.5 then, Mike?
No, it's not. But, I think that would be an interesting conversation to go back to is, what were you aiming for to begin with? Or was this, something that evolved, over time? I mean, how many beers have we had where, we literally have that conversation as almost deconstructing some of the process and going, was this their plan, or this is just what wound up in the bottle?
Like the Rogue Sriracha beer?
There you go. That's a prime example.
Yeah, but that beer was awful.
That is the worst beer I've ever had in my life. I spent a week trying to get.
You know what? This still sucks. Keep on.
We had it. Did we have it in the lab once? We had it in the lab once. Yes.
That's when I had it, and it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's by far. I remember like driving 2 days later, and I like vomited up a little bit of it in my mouth, and was like, "That's just awful."
It's almost so romantic, actually.
Yeah, kind of. Talk about toilet humor.
If vomiting in your mouth, that's fine.
Yeah, like a little vomit, like
that beer was just so wrong. I mean, I can't
yeah, maybe they should put some wax on the bottle, like on the cap.
Yeah.
Class it up a little bit.
Yeah. But, aren't there a bunch of other Rogue, beers that are the same way? I mean, Voodoo Donut is almost just as bad.
That's the pink one, right? Is that
absolutely. I think that beer should be banned, from...
Once again.
It should be banned from multiple countries, I think we should give that beer to people from Canada. I think everybody that comes
I doubt it made to multiple countries. Are we talking about states?
Canada, you should say, welcome to the U.S., here's a bottle of Voodoo Donut. Now go away. you know. So
is that to keep them out of the U.S. or is that?
Well, at least from not breeding here on U.S. soil, I think that would be a good deterrent. So,
what are you trying to say?
Are we getting into politics?
No. we are bashing a rogue beer that is shipped in a pink bottle that should never have been made. So
I'm guessing they're not one of your sponsors.
But Canadians had anything to do with that beer? That's what you're trying to say?
No, but it could. So. You know, you have to think about repurposing the point of what the beer was supposed to be to begin with. I mean, Voodoo Donut itself, it is a donut shop.
Yeah, they're good donuts.
I mean, they are. They're really good donuts. I just...
We went to the one in Colorado one time, and they were all out of donuts for the day because it was a soft opening, and they brought out like a 50-gallon pail of donuts and just said, hey, just grab one out of the bucket.
There you go.
Everyone in line.
Well, Kendall and Jude actually traveled out there and they stayed in the Rogue Inn. Which is,
they have a name.
That's the name of it. I think it's called the Inn at the Rogue Brewery or something like that. I don't think they had Voodoo Donut in that establishment because I just can't believe that. Anyway, so.
But has anyone ever met anyone who like tasted the Rogue Sriracha and was like, "Yeah, that was a good beer"?
This is my beer. I'm going to buy a case of it tomorrow.
I've met like one or two of those, and I'm always like, I don't know how to respond to them at that point. Like,
I think that is the natural reaction I have when somebody says, "Hi, Mike. I'm from Alabama. You know what? I've got a beer for you right here." So, this is exactly what you should be tasting in Alabama. Is this Voodoo Donut. So let me pour you a really tall glass.
So June didn't come pregnant from the trip.
No,
is that what you're trying to say?
No.
But so it worked out actually very well.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah. But
that's
hyperglycemia.
Yeah, I think that's part of what you should. You should always think of how to repurpose a beer. To give it to a relative or a friend or a football fan that you really hate. I think those should all be some points of experience. I don't think that I would choose that for this particular beer. The Bury the Hatchet. It's not in that category. So, but
well, I appreciate that.
No, it's like you said, it's a 3.5. Well, we got one more beer to talk about, and that is the beer that I brought. It is from Omnipollo. So if you had a chance to check out one of our almost award-winning episodes covering a whole lineup of, just kind of gloss right over you guys. You didn't catch that. Anyway.
I think we caught it. We were just...
Yeah, you didn't want to interrupt me. It's a whole lineup of Omnipollo beers. We had an episode calling Combining ABBA and Beer. I triple dog dare anybody.
I love ABBA.
Yeah, I know. To come up with a more entertaining discussion.
Thank you. I was just thinking about that song.
So Omnipollo is from Sweden. This particular beer, Abrahadabra, is an American IPA. The ABV on this is 6%. And, this is definitely down a lot of the path of other Omnipollo beers. I just don't think that you would normally combine strawberries and IPA. So this is an IPA that is fruited with strawberries. Some of my own tasting notes, I wrote down hoppy pine soda, with kind of a creamy lactose, element to it. The vanilla is barely there. I think the strawberry is totally hidden. The bitterness off of this, it reminds me of what would come from the strawberry skin. There's a bit of citrus on this, as well. I thought it was an interesting beer. I liked kind of the unique elements of the combination of these ingredients. So that's what I brought for you guys today on Show and Tell. Good old boy Andzrej, what do you think about the Abrahadabra?
Thank you for bringing that beer. I actually really liked it. I thought it was quite amazing. Actually, poured with very. I overused the word "very." I don't know why.
If you focus on it, you won't use it like that a lot.
And interesting.
Focus.
Focus on the word very. Usually don't use it.
Pizza.
Yeah, you're so close there.
Yeah, so pours with slight haze, not much of a head, a bit funky. Belgian East profile, I would like to say. No dirty funk, though. Very, very nice fruity funk. Not much of bitterness. Very, very drinkable. Talking about very. I'm back at it. I'm sorry. Not very highly carbonated, which I really think helped this beer. And almost like a blend of Tenderman's Framboise with an APA.
Huh.
That's my take on this beer. And
Like a lambic type idea.
Yeah, but watered down with APA.
Interesting. What's your Suds rating on this?
I really like that beer, actually. I drink that beer all day. Well, like any other beer, I guess, but I'm going to give it 4.
Wow. Good old boy Mott, what do you think about this?
All right. Well, I also had the soda nose, but I called it more of like a Sprite or 7-Up type lemon limey type nose. I actually got a lot of like grassy landrace hops type idea, more like the Hallertau type Persuasion or maybe Saws hops or something like that. That I really liked. And after it warmed up, I started to get a little bit of that strawberry on the nose, or maybe after the hops kind of wore off, one of the two. As well, on the taste, it just seems like it's just a really clean malt bill. It's probably almost 100% Pilsner malt, I would say. Just really classic kind of Belgian ideal with some candy sugar. I think they definitely added some candy sugar or some type of malt sugar there.
I forgot how much you love to talk about candy sugar and making it, actually.
Yeah, he made that
third favorite word.
Yeah, I like candy sugar. But you know, because of that, I could really, I feel like I can hammer down when beers use candy sugar, and this beer definitely uses candy sugar.
What's your Suds rating?
It's about a 4.
About a 4.
Yeah, I think
3.75.
Negative.
I think having more carbonation in this beer probably would have brought out more of that vanilla and strawberry flavor, because I think it was just kind of dead in the water with no carbonation.
So that may have been me. This bottle is actually not quite as fresh as maybe I was looking for. So,
you like cracked it open and then recapped it?
No. But I did look at the bottle on date, and thought that was kind of interesting. Let's go quickly around to Chuck. What do you think about the Abrahadabra from Omnipollo?
I pretty much had some of the same notes that Matt did, but I would say early on, it was kind of more champagne-y to me, finished, relatively clean. And now it's warmed up a little bit, tasting it. I now kind of get the vanilla that you were talking about. I don't know if maybe you primed me for that, just by letting me know that. But it's a good beer. I gave it a 3.
A 3, how about that? Well, very interesting choice, and a wide range of beers on today's show and tell show. Just a quick recap of everything we had. The Omnipollo Abrahadabra, the Mega Mixx Pale Ale from MIA Beer Company, the Altbairisch Dunkel from Ayinger. How about that? He says Ayinger. I was so close.
You were.
Not really, but... and Barry the Hatchet, the Raspberry Stout from Sycamore Brewing, are all the beers that we had on today's show.
Our song and join our family. MICKEYMOUSE. Through the years we'll all be friends wherever we may be. Mickey Mouse.
Well, it's really great stuff for today. So let's wrap up today's Suds episode. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and you can catch all of us online. Andzrej is inhaling over here. You can catch all of our episodes online on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search for Sips, Suds, and Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store. Be sure to tap on subscribe, and the show will always be right there on your phone. We love your feedback, and you can reach us online anytime at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Please do not make comments about Chuck's Southern heritage. That would be rude. So, our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every single day.
What?
Our handle is @SipSudsSmokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. A deep inhale. You also be able to interact with thousands of our other fans on those social media platforms. They probably inhale, don't they, Andzrej?
I would presume.
Yes. Do us a favor and take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a great big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. I definitely want to thank all of my co-hosts for joining me on this show. Good old boy Andzrej.
Oh, thank you. It was amazing. I've never done anything like this before.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, good old boy Mike. Yeah.
Very, very amazing.
Do you need knee pads?
I can't believe that, man. I think you've inhaled too much. Good old boy Bob, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
And good old boy Chuck.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good time.
Well, definitely come back. Join us once again. This is good old boy Mike asking you to keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.